Hello everybody. How are you all today? Come join me. All right, we have somebody. So, can you believe it's December already? Oh my goodness, how are you doing with all your holiday preparations? Of course, we just had Thanksgiving last week, which was quiet but very nice. And I finally brought in hi Debbie, I finally brought in my pumpkins from outside, and I have these two giant pumpkins sitting on my counter and I'm wondering what to do with them. I did hear that you could take them to the zoo, but I don't really want to drive to the zoo. And then I did see a friend on Facebook had dropped hers off at a farm, a local farm, for animal feed. So I'm thinking I might do that. I hate to just put them in the garbage, and you know, the great big ones that we use for outside, hi Chris, are not good for eating. I do have some smaller ones. I'm still going to make some pumpkin soup from those, but so I have to find a home for my two giant pumpkins. When I brought them in yesterday from the doorstep, my granddaughter Violet said, "That's the biggest pumpkin I've ever seen," which I don't think it probably isn't, but it just looked really big sitting on the kitchen counter. So anyway, and now it's December already and it's on to Christmas planning. So anyway, I thought it'd be fun to make some different things, not cards, and I'm looking forward to showing you what I have lined up for today. So thank you all for joining me. So I think we'll get started right away, and then we'll take a little break and do the giveaways and talk about a couple of other things. So I'm very excited to show you this. Let me switch down to my desk. Give me a hi, or oh, hi Kristen. So anyway, let's switch down here. So you may have seen this on on Facebook. I posted this picture of this little package. So shall we open it and see what's inside? It's very exciting. See, there's a little gnome on the front, and I'll show you what I made. I thought this would be a cute way to package it. Hi Vicky. So we'll open it up. I made a little tag, just a simple little tag to go on. I don't think I can zoom in much. I don't know what I've done with my camera setting. There we go. I think this is all right. So open this up, and these little bags come from Stampin' Up too, these fun little bags, and they almost look like little snowflakes or something. Yeah, although I've got a few candies in there. So here's our little tin. So it's this cute little tin with a gnome on the front, and inside, look what's inside. Decorated the inside too. I've made this little memory game with all the gnomes. Look, it's like a stack of cards. How fun is that? So look at them all. So what I did is and actually I've got a couple to show you. So I've done them in pairs. So I've got this little guy, two of them, and I concentrated on kind of three main colors. I've got two blue, two green, and I'm going to make another red one, and then I'm going to make a blue one of this. Then I've got this little guy, got two green ones of him, two red, and then I've got their little house, tree house, yellow ones and blue ones, and then there's the little girl gnome, or a little lady, I don't know, she looks like a little girl, she's cute. She's in yellow, and then red, and then blue dress. So isn't this fun? I thought this would just be so much fun to make for your kids or grandkids, or neighbors' kids, and I thought this would be really fun too if you have older kids or kids that can help you with coloring and stamping and assembling. I thought they would have a great time making this as a gift for someone too. So and it was very easy, and it took me probably like a couple of hours to do this, not that long really. So I've got, let's see, I've got 4 images. Let me show you the stamp set. This is the stamp set, known for the holidays. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4 images, and I did 6 of each. So I have 24 cards total. And then I did another one to go on the front. And then I just put and I'll show you how I did this a little bit later. But so let me show you. Now this wasn't my original idea. Most of these ideas are not my original ideas, but I kind of tweak it and make it my own. So I saw actually a UK Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I forget what her actual name is, but her business name and her blog is Intertwine Designs, I think it's what it's called. And she had made some with a different stamp set. And she didn't use designer series paper on the back, she used cardstock. And this designer series paper is from the Heartwarming Hugs, the same actually that I used last year. But I was looking last week. But I was looking for one that would be kind of a small overall design, so that they would, all look the same on the back. So you could, use either cardstock, colored cardstock, or you could find a paper to go on the back. So let me show you how I made them. So you want this is thick Whisper White. Now if you don't have thick Whisper White, you could use regular Whisper White, but I wanted to give it a little bit more, make it a little bit more sturdy. And of course you could actually laminate the cards also to make them more durable, because they are going to get kind of dog-eared and marked and that over time, obviously. So anyway, I've got your basic cardstock needs to be where's my little post-it note here? So it needs to be 2 1/4 inches. Yes, 2 1/4 inches by 3 5/8 inches. And then I'm just going to use my Stamparatus. Now, if you don't have a Stamparatus, you can definitely do this by hand, but it is really quick and easy because you can just stamp your 6 of one image and then clean off and stamp 6 of the next. So I'm going to do, let's see, what did I need? I needed a blue one of this one, I think. So here's this little guy. And you just line him up there. Make sure he's somewhat straight. And then I'm just going to use Memento black ink. Now I'm using this because I'm going to color in with my alcohol blends. So the alcohol blends will not react with this. If you're going to use watercolor markers, you need to use a permanent black ink like StazOn that won't react with them. So there's my little gnome, and I could easily stamp him again, if it wasn't dark enough. And then what I did when I was making them, I just put 6 pieces of cardstock in and kept stamping with this one, and then I switched to my other image. So we'll just do one of the other. I'll clean off my chamois, clean off my stamp with my chamois, and switch to my other little gnome, this one. Put in another piece of paper. Now you can get 10 of these from one piece of 8.5 by 11. I'll put all these details on the post afterwards. And there's a very useful app called Die-Cut, D-Y-C-U-T, and I'll put this on my post too. But what you do is you put in the size of paper that you're starting out with, and then you put the dimensions of whatever you're cutting, and it'll tell you how many you can get from one sheet of paper, and it shows you a little diagram of how to make the cuts so that you maximize the number of cuts from one piece of cardstock. I tell you, it's probably saved me a lot of money, and it's a free app. They do ask for donations, but it is free. So but I've donated to them because I've probably saved a lot of money over the years using it. And it gives you options too. It might give you two or three different layouts. So I'll just put that one away. So you could go through your stamp sets and see what you would have you know, that would work for something like this. You just need a stamp set that has lots of different images. Okay, so I'm going to grab my blends markers. So I'm using, I think I have 6 different colors. I tried to keep it to kind of a minimum. This crumb cake I just used on the trees, but my main colors that changed on every one were the yellow, the red, and the blue. And when you're coloring, you want to have something underneath. I'm just going to put this underneath it right now, because the colors will bleed through, so you don't want them to get onto your work surface. So let me pull back let me open my, I forget which ones I'm supposed to be doing. I think it's a red one. I need a red one, I need this red one, and then I need, I think this one, I think I need his pair. So I tried to keep it fairly simple, so that it wouldn't take me too long, and so that it was easy to spot the differences. So let's do this little red one first, this red gnome. So what, I'm sorry I can't pan in anymore, I'm not sure, but I hope you're seeing okay. So the stamping blends, I'm using the dark of the red, and they have a narrow tip and a brush tip, like a pen tip and a brush tip. And I use the brush tip a lot when I'm actually blending colors, because I find that it does blend better. But for right now, because I'm doing a smaller area and I'm not doing any shading at all, so I'm just going to use the pen tip, and I'm just going to color in these little red areas. So I'll do it quite quickly, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm doing this exactly the same as the other one. But I was showing a friend of mine this the other night, and she has 3 granddaughters, and she said, "Oh, I want 3 for my, will you make me 3 for my granddaughters?" So I think they would just be a really fun little, like a stocking stuffer. And you could write something, you could put stick another piece of paper on the back and maybe write something with the date. Let's see, I've got the bow. And then I'll make sure that I color the right stripes in. But yeah, I thought if you had children that were old enough to help you color, you know, but you had like younger nieces and nephews or something, you could enlist your kids' help to, they would have lots of fun, you know, making these and coloring them in. And you could use whatever coloring medium that you have. You could use watercolor markers or crayons or watercolors. So that's the red. And then I just need the green for the little leaves. I think these are supposed to be mistletoe. So I'll hold it up to the camera when I'm finished so you can see. I love colouring with the blends. You could definitely use regular markers, but the blends go on so smoothly and they don't leave any brush marks. I'm using Petal Pink Dark just for his nose and his face and his hands. And then what I did is, let's see, I used a little bit of Wink of Stella brush on his beard just to give him a little bit of sparkle. And that's him done. Isn't he cute? Let's do the other one quickly. So the other one, I need the blue. I need Balmy Blue Dark. And again, I'm using the pen tip. I could use the brush tip for his hat. It'll go a bit faster. That's his hat. And I'm going to switch back to the caps on these pens. They fit very tightly, and they do that on purpose because they're alcohol. They don't want them to dry out on you too quickly. And they come in a pair, so I'm using mostly the dark but they come in a dark and a light. So then a little bit of yellow. This is Mango Melody Dark, and I'm using this for the bell. And then a little bit of the Petal Pink Dark again. For his nose, and a little bit of his face is showing in his little hands. Right, and then we can put some Wink of Stella on his beard again. Just give him a little bit of sparkle. So there's that one. Right, so let's put this away. I'm going to show you how to just finish them. So you need some designer series paper the same size, and so again this is 2 1/4 inches by 3 5/8 inches, and I was telling you you can get 10 white pieces from an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock. From a 12 by 12, which is what this was, you can get 14 of these from one. And again, I use that die cut app to figure out how to cut them so that I could get the maximum number. So what I did is I rounded my, I think I used this last week, so I used my corner rounder and that's not what this is called, and I never remember what this punch is called, but I'll have it listed. Now, if you don't have a corner rounder, you need to make these just a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, because they won't, well, let me show you on the cardstock ones, they don't quite fit in. See, they're just a little bit big. So if you don't have a corner rounder, just make them a touch shorter and they'll fit. But I do like the corners rounded. Now it doesn't matter if you round the corners before you stick them together or afterwards. This punch will go through because the designer series paper is very thin. So I'm looking at comments really quick. Hi Susan, hi Kristen, hi Colleen. Yeah, this is not very thick at all, so the punch will go through both layers. But I'm going to punch them now because you do want to let them dry. If you glue them together and then punch around the corners, you want to let them dry first, otherwise the punch won't cut through them very well if that glue is still wet. So I'm just going to do them now so that I don't have to wait for them to dry. And when you use this punch, you want to punch down from the top, not off to the side. People always want to just punch over to the one side that they're punching, but you want to punch in the center. And get all these little bits. So we'll do this one. So I have, I think I said 24 of these, and they fit quite easily in the tin. You could do a few more. If you wanted. Obviously it depends how many images you have in your stamp set and how many colors you want to use and how much paper you have. You want to kind of clear these away from underneath fairly regularly, otherwise they tend to get stuck up, and then sometimes if you get too many accumulating underneath, then it doesn't cut properly. But you don't really need a whole lot of special equipment for these. The tins do come from Stampin' Up. They come 4 in a pack. Right, so we've got, but you see how the Stampin', the blends bleed through, so you do definitely need something on the back. So I'm going to use liquid glue. I like to use liquid glue for this because I've got a few seconds that I can take to line up the two pieces properly, but you can use two-sided adhesive if you prefer. So I'm just going to go around that to this one. Stick him together. And then I like to just put something heavy, like one of my blocks. Let's see. Like that. And we'll do this one. Usually I use my phone. I use my phone to put on top because that's heavy, but my phone's up here. So I can't do that. All right. So that's those. Put my glue away. So let's bring back my tin. So I'll show you, I've got another one, another set to show you too with a different stamp set, but all I did here was I cut my pieces just a little bit bigger. So these are going to be 2 3/8 by 3 1/4. So about 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I've got one on the front that you can just see a little bit of the paper poking out, and then I just did one more card. Now you could seal this with like Mod Podge, or you could laminate this one before you stick it on, you know, if you want to make it last a little bit longer. And then, like I say, you could put another piece on the back and you could stamp, you know, Merry Christmas or something like that, and you could put the year and sign it. You know, that would be fun too. So I think these are probably good. Let's bring in the rest of them here. And we can put them all back in their tin. And I like to have the same one on the top as is on the front. So how fun is that? Oh my gosh, so cute. And then you can put it back in the bag with your, or however you want to package it. But isn't that fun? I just was so excited to show you this. So I do have another one, another set to show you. But look at these guys. They've got Zany Zebras, or zebras as we say in England. So let me show you the stamp set. Here's the stamp set, Zany Zebras. And so I used these 3 images, and I did 8 of each. So I did 4 different colors. So here's the blue ones. Got this little guy. And then this one. And this one. And then I've got them in 3 different, so I use Night of Navy, Crushed Curry, and Coastal Cabana, the blue one, and then the last color is Calypso Coral. So again, I've got 24. So I've only got 3 images this time, but I did 8 of each rather than 6 of each. So aren't those cute? Now, what happened with these ones is I'd already decided that I wanted to use this paper called Playing with Patterns. That's Heartwarming Hugs, Playing with Patterns. Where is it? It's this paper right here. So I'd already decided I was going to use this, so I picked 4 of the colors to use, these 4 colors, and then I realized afterwards that this paper is a 6 by 6 stack, and you only get 4 of each sheet, which isn't enough to do the whole pack of cards. So I'd already done all my stamping and had all the colors, you know, so I thought, well, I'm just going to do random, I'm just going to do all different patterns on the back. So this probably, I don't know if this would make the game easier or harder, if you're trying to remember, you know, which zebra is where. I think this is a little bit harder anyway, because it's hard to see the different, you know, the images aren't that different. So I think this is maybe for slightly older children. But if you can see, I've got just random backings on all of them from the different papers. So I think it's really fun. It would have been fun to do them all in this, because this is kind of zebra-like. On this one, I thought was really fun too. But as it is, I've just got random ones for all of them. So I don't know if that matters or not. And when you make one, you can decide. So let me show you the, let's see, I have a tin here. So let's grab an empty tin and I'll show you just how to finish them off. So they come in a little, they come 4 to a pack. And because I've got 24 here and those will all fit in. So I'm going to show you how I did the inside and then the outside. But actually, let's stamp one first. And I'll show you how easy it is to stamp the zebras, again using the Stamparatus, but you don't have to have this. You could do them without, but this does make it really easy. So let's grab this little guy. And now the big difference between this one and the other set is there's no coloring in this. It's just all stamping with different colors. Now you could stamp this in gray or black and then kind of do some highlighting with colors. But I thought for people that don't like to do coloring, you know, this would be a good option. So let's... Susan says, I like the idea of the random colors on the back of the cards. Yeah, I think it's fine, you know, either way. I do like the uniform look of the ones on the back of the gnomes, but I think this is fine too. It just adds to the game. So again, super easy to do this way, and if you don't have a dark enough image, you can stamp it, you can ink it up and stamp it again. And then I just basically stamped 2 of the same color, wiped it off with my chamois, stamped 2 with the next color until I was done with this stamp, and then I switched out the stamp to the next one. So just clean this off and put it away. And let's cut this, bring in my trimmer. So what did I say for this? 2 3/8 by, let's see, oh, actually I want to do lengthwise first. 3 3/4. I have to think carefully that so that I can get 3 out. You can only get 3 out of one piece of paper. So 2 3/8. 3/8. 2 3/8. And then I can get one more. Hopefully, this might not be wide enough. I guess you can only get 2. If you're doing the size for the same size as these, you can get 3 out of one 6 by 6. But I guess you can only get 2 of the bigger ones, of the bigger pieces. So that's okay. We won't worry about doing all 3 for right now. So we'll round off all the corners. Where's my punch? So let's see, this is going to get stuck and you can just see a little bit around the edge. So we'll stick this on here. Again with my liquid glue. This time I'm putting the glue on the back of the white piece because I don't want to get too close to the edge of the designer series paper. Just center that on there. Looks about right. And you don't have to worry about bleeding through the back. So in theory, I suppose you don't need to back them at all, but I think they do look nicer backed because the ink doesn't bleed through when you're just stamping. And then make sure you've got your tin the right way. I like to have it with the hinge on the right so it opens like this, but I suppose it doesn't really matter, but work out which way you want your tin. And then I actually just used, oh, that's pretty too, isn't it? I actually just used, I think, I did this a few days ago, but I think I just used my Stampin' Seal Plus, which is stronger than our regular Stampin' Steel. I think I just used this to put it onto the tin. The only downside to this is, oops, now that's another, see it's really strong, so sometimes it does, oh no, it does pull off your paper. Let's see if I can. And once you've got it in position, then it's hard to move. So that's the downside to using this over liquid glue. I wasn't sure if the liquid glue would work on the metal. And then we'll just close up my tin. Just position this as best I can. All right. I did think there's a little, there's hats and stars. You could even stamp some other things on here if you liked. And then for the inside, I just did the same. I just put some of this. And then you need to be a bit careful if you're doing the bottom to get it kind of positioned before you let go. I think I'll just do the lid for right now. There we go. And put our little zebras in. So let's see, I have a navy one on the top. So let's find a navy one. I don't know if it's the same one, but it doesn't really matter. There we go. Cute, pretty cute, don't you think? Which one do you like best, zebras or gnomes? I guess it depends if you want Christmas or not. Let me show you one more. I don't have a whole set done, but I couldn't resist this. Look at these guys. It's a little donkey. Hee-haw. Hee-haw. How cute is that? Now let me show you the stamp set, because this is brand new. It's not available yet actually, but now I don't know how many of you have seen this. And if you haven't, you have to go watch. There's a Scottish grandma reading a book called The Wonky Donkey to her grandson, and it's on YouTube. And if you Google, if you go to YouTube and you just type in Scottish grandma donkey, it'll come up right away. She's reading this story to her grandson, and it's about a wonky donkey. And he's a three-legged wonky donkey. He's a three-legged, one-eyed, winky wonky donkey. And it goes on. It's hilarious. And yeah, Susan says she's seen it, and Christine says it's so funny. So when I saw this, it just, especially because it says hee-haw at the end of every page. And when I saw this, I just started laughing because it reminded me so much of the Wonky Donkey story. So you have to go and watch it if you haven't already seen it. Maybe I can put a link into it on my post. But so I thought this would be so fun to use, and I've made sure that I put hee-haw on every card. So isn't that fun? Now, you could stamp these in black and then color them in all different colors. If you like to color, you could just have different color, nice, bright, colorful donkeys. But I did the same as the zebras. I just stamped them in different colors, which is obviously much easier and quicker. So you could decide which you wanted to do. But I just thought that was fun. So this is going to be, this you can actually earn for free in January. It's one of our celebration items. So we have a new catalog coming out. And I can't show you the inside yet, but this is our new catalog that starts in January. And then we have a new celebration. So celebration in January and February is like a really exciting time for Stampin' Up. When you place a $50 order, you get to pick a free item from this celebration catalog, and the donkey is one of them. There are also some $100 items, but the donkey is a $50 item. So if you spend $50, you get to pick the hee-haw winky wonky donkey for free, and you can make all kinds of fun cards and packs of cards. So he's going to be available in January, but I was able to pre-order him, and I thought I just have to make some cards with him. So thought that was fun. And then as I said, I rummaged through my my stamp sets, and I found a few others that I thought would work. So Pampered Pets would be a fun one. Again, you could stamp these in different colors, or you could color them in depending on your preference. So we got 2 kitties and 2 dogs, and then there's other little things that you could stamp onto. So I thought that would be a fun one. And then I thought this would be a fun, more adult one. Nothing's better than, there's some fun sayings, but we've got coffee or tea, cocktails, chocolates, and cookies. So I thought this would be a really fun one, and you could even put some of these sayings in, like a day without chocolate. And then the other part to this is like just kidding, I have no idea, but there's actually some really funny sayings, so you could put some of these on with the cards too. So I thought that would be a fun adult one. And on the Pampered Pet ones, there's really cute designer series paper that goes with this, with little fishes and hearts and dog bowls and cat bowls and things. So this would be a really fun to do on the back of that. And then a couple more ideas, a more guy one. And I thought this would be a fun one for maybe like if you have an older relative, like your older father or grandfather or something, and they, you know, especially if they need things to kind of keep their mind active. I thought this would be a gift to make for them. You could play it with them when you went to see them or something. So we've got lighthouses and ships and boats and nautical stuff, ropes, anchors and that. So I thought this would be a nice masculine one. And then the last one I have was this one, which is coffee and drinks theme. So again, you could do these in different colors. You could put some of the sentiments on. But I couldn't stop, you know, I kept pulling out more and more stamp sets. But anyway, I just thought this would be a really fun idea to get more use out of your stamp sets and use up some of your paper. Let's bring back my little gnome one. So I've got gnomes and zebras and donkeys. And then I just packaged them, the gnome, in a little bag with a little bit of, you know, filler and some candy, some chocolate. So anyway, what do you think? I hope you give this a try and post some pictures if you do. I was just excited. I just had a great time making these. It's very kind of relaxing to make them, you know, wasn't hard. And if you like coloring, it's kind of therapeutic. So anyway, I do hope that you'll give these a try and rummage through your stamp sets. And if you don't have one that would work, then you can purchase. Stampin' Up! Has some amazing ones that you could choose from. So you could do Christmas or non-Christmas. So anyway, I will be back next week with another fun homemade Christmas item. I already have something in mind, so I've got to try it out and see if it's going to work. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll put all the details above my post after this. And don't forget to contact me or go to my website if you'd like to shop for anything. Okay, well, have a great rest of the week, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.